Hello, this is Doe Wilkes on another edition of Old School Boxing Talk. Well, tonight's the night before Mother's Day, May 10th. And tonight, of course, we got Jared Hurd fighting J. Rock Williams. But I want to go back a little bit. Last week, big week of fights. Canelo Jacobs. Um, Good fight. I thought Canelo won the fight. There was some close rounds, but look, this is my thing about scoring a fight, especially a championship fight. If you're fighting a champion, to beat the champion, you know if you want to win the title, you got to beat the champion. And a lot of those close rounds, if a round is close, I give it to the champ because he's a champion for a reason. When you want to beat the champion, when you fight the champion, you got to beat the champion. And that's the same way. Like when I scored the Wilder Fury fight, I gave it to Wilder. And a lot of rounds, people said, "Oh, they were close." They gave it to Fury, but I gave it to Wilder. And that's the way. Maybe people don't like the way I score fights, but that's that's the way I score fights. You want to beat a champion, you got to beat the champion. So any close round, I give to the champ. You got to decisively win rounds. So I gave the fight to Canelo closely. I had it, the 115, 113 for. I had 7 rounds for Canelo. Um, a lot of times I see a lot of these prospects, and I watch amateur boxing. Maybe a lot of you are just pro fans. I'm an amateur. I'm a boxing fan. I'm a boxing head. Um, I follow amateur boxing, and I watch guys. One of the guys I watched, even as an amateur, and that never impressed me. I always thought was not going to be a very good pro, was Saddam Ali. And last week he proved it. Saddam Ali is a guy that you have to match him real carefully. You cannot match him against top tier guys because he cannot beat top tier guys. He's just not that good. He was an okay amateur, and if you look at his pro resume, when he fought Jesse Vargas for the vacant WBO welterweight title, he was supposed to win that fight. Jesse Vargas is not that good, but Jesse Vargas is just the tier. Jesse Vargas is a tier of fighter that's Saddam Ali. You got to place him with guys below the Jesse Vargas tier. And Jesse Vargas knocked him out in the 10th round. Okay, then Golden Boy, they matched him because he had a bit of a name in New York. They matched him a little carefully. They put him in with the lower class of fighters, and he rebounded. Then when Golden Boy could not trick Mikey Garcia or Earl Spence into taking a Cotto fight, and here's what happened. And all these, Bob Arum does it. This is why when people say, why isn't the Crawford fight made? Why isn't this? This is what Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya try to do to fighters. They offer you a fight. Okay, you say, I'll come to the one-off. But no, they don't want a one-off because if you win, they want options on you. It's like, okay, a modern example was a modern example was Jeff Horn. Jeff Horn was the WBO mandatory for Manny Pacquiao. It was supposed to be it was a cherry pick. It was supposed to be a cherry pick for Manny Pacquiao. You know, and Jeff Horn turned around and got a decision. I thought Manny won the fight, but Jeff Horn got the decision. But on the back end of that was Bob Arum had a couple options on Jeff Horn. So Bob Arum then, about this time, this is why, in my opinion, Terence Crawford didn't even defend the 140-pound title. Bob Arum wanted to slide Terence Crawford right up there as soon as he can because Manny Pacquiao was not going back to Australia for that rematch. See, Bob Arum was at this point, Bob Arum was trying to catch Manny Pacquiao out. So Bob was looking at, okay, I can send Manny right back over to Australia. I'll make a shitload more money. They'll rob Manny again. Since Manny wants out, fuck him. He's damaged goods. But Manny Pacquiao, someone is smarting Manny Pacquiao up. Manny's like, I'm not going back to Australia for that shit. But Bob Arum knew he had a fight option on this kid, so he bring up, I got Terence Crawford at 140. and bring Terrence Crawford up here and win me that WBO belt. And once he was done with that, I think he still has another option on. He still has maybe a fight left with Jeff Horn. But that's what they try to do. And Oscar De La Hoya tried the same shit with both Mikey Garcia and Earl Spence. They wanted the Miguel Cotto fight. And Miguel Cotto at that point wasn't trying to fight nobody for real. And Oscar was trying to cash Miguel, and Miguel was trying to get cashed out. So Miguel was like, yeah, I'll fight Mikey Garcia or I'll fight Earl Spence. Oscar, instead of making the fight, Oscar's like, well, yeah, I'll get you the fight. You can have the fight, but I need this option on you. I need a 2-fight option on you. And both Mikey and Earl said, nah, fuck you, man. I'm not giving you no 2-fight option on me. No, fuck you. I don't need the Cotto fight. It's not going to make me that much of a difference at this point in Cotto's career. So no. Which is why Saddam Ali, who's pretty much Golden Boy's house nigger, because Golden Boy don't have many black fighters. Golden Boy mostly has a bunch of Latino fighters, and that's what they that's what they have. But Saddam Ali's that in-house black fighter. They can with a bit of a name that they can use to say we're not So they threw Saddam Ali in there. Lo and behold, Saddam Ali fought the fight of his life against a faded Miguel Cotto and won a decision. Alright, so now everybody's thinking, ooh, Saddam Ali's the shit. Saddam Ali this. Saddam Ali ain't shit. He beat a faded Miguel Cotto, who probably didn't even fucking train for that fight. Because that fight had taken place 5 years earlier. Miguel Cotto knocked Saddam Ali's ass out. But Saddam Ali wound up winning that WBO belt. Okay, at 154. He can't even win a belt at 147. What the fuck's he going to do with a belt at 154? But Oscar wanted to hold on to that belt. So what's he do? He set Saddam Ali up. He set Saddam Ali up to defend that belt against who? Jaime Munguia, who we just signed. Remember, Jaime Munguia was supposed to fight Golovkin. When Canelo had his problem with his problem with the obtaining meat, Golovkin decided, I'm going to stay on Cinco de Mayo, I'm going to do this. And Jaime Munguia was one of the guys that was chosen that Golovkin was going to face. But the California State Athletic Commission said, no. So they settled for Vanis Monterosha. And of course, Golovkin wound up losing the IBF belt because the IBF's like, look, man, you're going to fight this boy here, our mandatory, or we're going to take our belt. Golovkin said, y'all ain't taking shit. The IBF said, you want to make a bet? They took that shit when he wouldn't fight his mandatory. So now, Saddam Ali is in there with Jaime Munguia signs a contract, a co-promotional deal with Golden Boy. Who, and all of a sudden now he goes in there. Jaime Munguia is a big boy. He blows out Saddam Ali. Duh. So now Jaime Munguia looks like he's a shit because he beat up a small Saddam Ali who ain't shit anyways. There were people trying to sell you that Saddam Ali was as good as but Saddam Ali ain't shit. So, and if you look at Jaime Munguia since the Saddam Ali fight, he showed he ain't really shit because he ain't look that good. He ain't look good since. There's question about the Hogan fight. The fight before the Hogan fight with the kid from Japan, that was a damn good scrap. I'll tell you, that was a damn good scrap. I'll be damned. But Jaime Munguia, he's not. And the fight before that, with Smith, Jaime Munguia showed that he's not really everything people thought he was. As he stepped up a level in opposition, that dominating knockouts that he had over Saddam Ali, people see what these other 154 fighters taking that shit. He's not hitting like that. And now they trying to, in Golden Boy now they got to do damage control because it's seen his last 3 fights. Jaime Munguia showed his last 3 fights why he is not calling for Jarrett Hurd or Charlo or anybody on the PBC side because he's just, he knows he's not built that way. He just same thing with Golovkin. Why do you think Golovkin's not calling out Charlo or Boo Boo Andre or none of, because Golovkin knows he don't want no smoke on that side of the street. Golovkin wants one thing. Golovkin wants that 3rd fight with Canelo so he can back him, so he can pretty much piddle his way out of here. That's all he wants. To me, Canelo's the biggest mistake in my opinion Canelo made was fucking with Golden Boy. That's my opinion. because I think Canelo would get the fuck away from Oscar and them. He'd really be a bigger star than he is, in my opinion. Because I think Oscar and them motherfuckers, they just Golden Boy just fucked up. When the moment they fucked up and Richard Schaefer left them motherfuckers, because Oscar's never really been the guy that run Golden Boy. Richard Schaefer was the guy that ran it, because Oscar's in and out of rehab like so fucking much. You know, like Eminem got rehab, Eminem got relapsed. Oscar's fucking relapse king. You know, Oscar's always relapsing. You know, Oscar's always in and out of rehab. You know, um, you don't know who. I guess this Eric Gomez kid is the guy that's really running Golden Boy, because Oscar's not there. Oscar's in and out of meetings. Oscar's in and out of, you know, he gets coked up or drunked up. You know, Oscar's in and out of rehab. So, you know, Oscar's coked up out of his mind. I don't know what the fuck's going on half the time, anyways. So that aside, you know, that's like Jaime Munguia has shown that. That's why Jaime Munguia is not talking about fighting Jarrett Hurd. That's why Jaime Munguia don't go to get a Hogan a rematch. That's why Jaime Munguia is not fighting any of the top 154 pounders, because Oscar, no folks know the boy. No, he ain't built like that. They want to set this boy Munguia up to get slaughtered by Canelo. That's the ultimate goal. That's the payoff for Munguia, to fatten up the calf, to send him up to 150 to 160, and give Canelo that fight for that Munguia get, you know, and have Munguia get destroyed, because he's gonna get destroyed by Canelo. Trust him, believe me, Canelo gonna beat his ass. But that aside, Saddam Ali fought on the undercard, and he fought a kid that the kid was put in there as an opponent for Saddam Ali to look good, and the kid wound up beating Saddam Ali's ass. I mean, he fucked Saddam Ali. He beat Saddam Ali. So I could sell Saddam Ali was weak, but the boy was banging with the body shot. Saddam Ali was wilting, and you know, in the first round, the fight ended in I think the third round, but in the first 2 rounds, the boy was beating Saddam Ali's ass. And this is Saddam Ali. He's back at 147. He's blah, blah, blah. Saddam Ali's not that fucking good, and I knew it there are certain fighters that were good amateurs, but were not good pros. Saddam Ali wasn't even a good amateur. He was an okay amateur. But he's not a good pro. You got to really match him with the bottom of the barrel type of fighters so he can shine. You match him with top quality fighters, and you're going to see what the fuck he's really made of. You know, not everybody that's a good amateur or great amateur is meant to be a good pro. There's some fighters that they were great amateurs. One of the guys I think was a great amateur, Howard Davis Jr. Howard Davis Jr., 76 Olympics, gold medalist, great amateur. Howard Davis Jr. was probably one of the greatest amateurs ever. The problem with Howard Davis Jr. was he had no chin, he had no punch. You know, that was the thing with Howard. He couldn't take a punch, and he couldn't punch. And when you got to the pro game, that's when Howard had, you know, he wasn't a threat to knock you out. He was chinny. When he went overseas and he got title, every time he got title shot, it came down to one, he fought Jim Watt. And Jim Watt was a WBC lightweight champion. Jim Watt would bleed on his way to the ring. It didn't take much to just cut Jim Watt. Howard swelled him up, whatever. Howard could keep him off in a minute, you know, to win it. And at that time, I believe in the UK they were using 6-ounce gloves, because the glove limit was from flyweight to lightweight. You could wear 6-ounce gloves, and from lightweight up, it was from lightweight to light heavyweight, it was 8-ounce gloves, and then from light heavyweight and heavyweights were 10-ounce gloves. Of course, then Nevada wound up changing and making 154. You know, wear 10-ounce gloves. You know, that's neither here nor there. But you know, Howard got dropped. You know, he lost a close decision to Watts in home, but but like I said, great amateur, not a good pro. Saddam Ali wasn't even a great amateur. As an amateur, I wouldn't compare Saddam Ali to Howard Davis Jr. No. Anyway, so Saddam Ali, I think for all intents and purposes, he needs to do what a lot of fighters do, and need to become a commentator. I think that's his next calling, because he don't have it in the ring. You know, it's not like he's gonna go down to 140, because he's too big for 140. He can't hang at 147. He sure as hell can hang at 154. Saddam Ali is just hang it up, you know. or he's just going to be like somebody they put in against lower tier fighters and look good. Then the minute he steps up, he's just going to get his ass beat. But then they had on the same night on ESPN had a card on the same night as the Zone. They had the Better Be Off fight, and okay, ESPN has three of the four light heavyweight champions, and I seen this now. I've seen all of them fight. I think his name was Vostik, who knocked out who rescued the WBC title from Adonis Stevenson. I've seen Better Be Off Kovalev, and of course I've seen Bevo. Um, of the four of them, if his head is on right, Kovalev's the best of the four of them. Better Be Off did not impress me at all. Maybe he was a good amateur, but he doesn't impress me at all as a pro. Um, Bevo, I would consider him as second best, but he's stuck on the Zone. Um, Vostik, he's got Teddy Atlas with him. Um, but there's still, I just don't know. I just don't know. I think of all these 40s light heavyweights, I think Kovalev's the best. I think if they have Bob Arum talking about a round robin tournament, but Bob Arum, today I'm telling you the truth, tomorrow, yesterday was lying, today I'm telling you the truth. If they put those three in, I think Kovalev winds up winning. Finally, Kovalev will finally win the WBC title, which that would be the fight I would, if I'm Kovalev, after I make this mandatory against Anthony Yard, I would go and get Vodek because Kovalev's already been WBA champion, he's been IBF champion, he's never been WBC champion. If I was Kovalev's people, I want that Vostek fight because I want that WBC belt because I've never held it. I've held on the other three belts. But remember, when Kovalev lost to Andre Ward, Kovalev was the WBA, IBF, and WBO title champion. He's had WBO title 3 times now. I would go after and grab my WBC belt because I've never held that belt. I would grab that. I would grab the WBC belt, and then round it off with getting Vostek because you're not. The thing about Bevo's stuck on the Zone. Now I mean, could Uncle Bob's been bitching Eddie Hearns as of late, and I'm gonna get to that later on in the video. Could that fight be made? I believe it could be made. But I personally would rather see Kovalev win that WBC belt for the first time, then get Better Be Off because I guess they got an amateur rivalry, but I think Kovalev beats Better Be Off. I like Buddy McGirt with Kovalev because Kovalev is now going back to boxing, not to try and knock everybody out. Kovalev, and he looked good in a rematch with Leader Alvarez. I mean, when he lost to Leader Alvarez the first time, I was like, oh shit, I was like, damn, But then when he came back and the second fight, I was worried about Kovalev. I was like, if he loses this motherfucker, man, my boy's done. Plus, I honestly think Kovalev should move up to cruiserweight. In my opinion, I think Kovalev should move up to cruiserweight because I think he's done it all. But now, since he's going to stay at 175, go win that WBC belt. Win that one. Then win your IBF belts, handle your little thing there, and then you get Bivol, become the undisputed light heavyweight champion, defend that title about 2 times, and jump to cruiserweight, man. Because after you undisputed, defend that thing 2 times, and then jump to cruiserweight, because there's going to be nothing else at light heavyweight really for you to do. In my opinion, but Sergey Kovalev, doing his own thing. Now, one of the hot topics that came up this week was the WBC and their political bullshit. I've told you people before, anybody's followed my channel, anybody's heard me, has told you I've been a fan for ever. The WBC, when I started watching boxing, I was about 5, 6 years old, indoctrinated, because boxing, a lot of my family, the men in my family, boxing fans, we sit there watch the fights. But I took it a step further because I really wanted to immerse myself in the knowledge of this because I really love boxing. I mean, boxing became my passion. I said, "Oh, I love this." There were two champions, WBA and WBC. Jose Sullivan was a piece of shit who would sell out to the highest bidder. His son Mauricio Sullivan's a piece of shit who will sell to the highest bidder. Which is why we now have Uncle Bob sliding Mauricio a little check to try to say um, Tyson Fury to tell Dillian White that if you want to fight Deontay Wilder, you have to go through Tyson Fury. First it was, see, this is Eddie Hearns. See, this is where Eddie Hearns and his crew fucked up. Eddie Hearns and his crew had Luis Ortiz, and they didn't want to fuck with Luis Ortiz. They wanted to keep Luis Ortiz as far from Anthony Joshua as they could. And then they did nothing with Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz left. He went to Golden Bitch. Golden Bitch did nothing with him. And then he wound up with the PBC where they're working with him. He got his fight with Wilder, and he put up a damn good fight. And shit, I thought he was gonna. I honestly was scared for that fight. I thought he was going to beat Wilder. I ain't gonna lie. Luis Ortiz, I thought he was going to beat Wilder because I've never been. I just never been a big, really high on Deontay Wilder, and I'm still. It's not that I'm not the brother. I think Wilder's good enough to beat most of these guys, but I'm just so he just. There's just some things with Deontay Wilder that I'm just not, ready to go all in with. I think he beat Brazil. But I'm still not going all in. I'm not throwing all my eggs in Deontay Wilder bandwagon. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon just yet. There's still some things I need to see from Deontay Wilder before I'm ready to go all in. Because remember, I come from an era where heavyweight champions. I come from an era, the end of Ali era, Larry Holmes. I was in the Larry Holmes era, and I'm one of the few guys in that. Well, honestly, I was never really a big Mike Tyson fan because I thought Tyson was flawed. And I think he got by because of the level of opposition. The minute he fought Buster Douglas, a guy that actually knew how to fight him, we seen what happened. He got that ass beat, which is, again, a fight I told people. I remember the night of that fight, I said, don't be shocked if this Douglas kid knocks him off. And when Douglas beat Tyson, people looked at me like, what the fuck? How do you do it? I said, because I seen the flaws in him. I seen it. I wasn't, both times when he fought Holyfield, I said, Holyfield's going to beat him. I seen the flaws in him. I knew there are certain guys you could put Mike in there with that if they were, unless they were mentally weak, if they were mentally strong guys and were willing to, go through shit with Mike, and weren't going to crumble. And Buster Douglas just happened to, his mom passed away, he got nothing to lose, he just fucking. What can you do to me? When he got dropped and he got the fuck up, he's like, fuck it, I'm still, he kept doing fight. Holyfield's a dog. Holyfield's a dog. I'm going to fight you regardless. You don't got to kill me to get me. So, those are guys that I don't, when Tyson lost those two fights, I picked those fights because I knew there was something about those two guys. I said, they got dog in them. And the problem with Mike Tyson throughout his career is anytime he fought a guy with dog in him, he lost. Before, the Danny Williams, the bullshit at the end of his career. But in his prime, Tyson, before you had dog in you, Tyson, he didn't want to fuck with you. And even Teddy Atlas wanted backing me up with that because Teddy Atlas said, look, this has been Mike's pattern throughout his whole life. That when they're training, and Teddy Atlas was, when they were training, Mike, there were certain guys that, Mike was a bully. And if certain guys had certain things that, Huss carefully matched Mike. Because he knew Mike's mental flaws. But, okay, we're going to get off. Okay, now, heavyweights aside. Okay. Now, here's just get back to what I was saying. The WBC got a little check from Uncle Bob to a couple checks from Uncle Bob, really. The WBC got a little check from Uncle Bob to kind of tell, once again, because Uncle Bob decided he's going to be the top promoter in all of boxing because he's got ESPN behind him. So Uncle Bob's like, I'm going to flex a little bit on these DAZN guys. So Uncle Bob decided to flex on Eddie Hearns and DAZN guys by saying, nah, you ain't fighting Deontay Wilder. You want to fight Deontay Wilder, you got to fight Tyson Fury. And if you're going to fight Tyson Fury, it's going to be here on ESPN. And Eddie Hearns is like, oh, fuck. And then Uncle Bob turned around, slid a little check to Mauricio Suleiman, and the vacant WBC title, which Mikey Garcia vacated, is now going to be fought between Vasily Lomachenko, who's now the governing bodies usually don't rank other governing bodies champions, but little check to Mauricio, and all of a sudden Vasily Lomachenko is going to fight Luke Campbell for the vacant WBC title. This is something that doesn't happen often, but it has been known because they did it with Klitsch. They did the thing with the IBF and WBA allowed it with Klitschko and Anthony Joshua, but the WBA is a piece of shit. They WBA just wants money. They're not even acting. The WBA is not even pretending. See, at least the WBC is pretending like we're not corrupt. WBA is all like we're for sale. They are creating new belts. WBA, look, we will make you a world champion for a fee. We will create another belt. I mean, WBA has like 20 different champions in one, and which is why boxing is in a position it's in, because who's the fucking like the welterweight division? We have Manny Pacquiao has a belt, Keith Thurman has a belt. Now, Keith Thurman is a recognized WBA welterweight champion that we all recognize. Keith Thurman actually won it. Manny Pacquiao is the quote-unquote regular champion. Then there's some joker down there that's an interim champion. Then he got some shit called the gold champion. All for sanctioning. It's like this kid Emmanuel Char. Nobody's fucking heard of him. He's a WBA regular champion. Nobody gives a fuck about this guy. We know Anthony Joshua's WBA champion, but if this kid Char is a WBA regular champion. What the fuck is a regular champion? Oh, Joshua is now a super champion, so that means the super champion deal was supposed to be in place for unified champions that would get you out of having to fight mandatories, push, so you could make bigger fights. But the WBA just fucked up. So let's get back to BC now. So the BC has decided that for the contribution from Uncle Bob, we're going to make Vasily Lomachenko's going to fight Luke Campbell for the WBC belt. Now, the man that's asked out in all this is Devin Haney. Because only reason Devin Haney went to the zone was because everybody knew Mikey Garcia was not coming back to 135. Knew that. So Devin Haney was ranked number 3. So Devin Haney went to the zone because he said, okay, Luke Campbell's number 1. So if I go over here to the zone, that's a fast track that BC title. Because we know Mikey's not coming back to 135. So that's a fast track to that BC title. So he goes and joins the zone, partners up with Uncle Eddie there, thinking that once Mikey makes it official, he's dropped this strap, I'm getting that fight. And Devin Haney's, he's like, yeah, he's all hyped up, yeah. And then Uncle Bob has a little conversation with Mauricio Suleiman, makes Suleiman an offer he can't refuse. So now, nope, Devin, sorry, you're odd man out because the number 2 contender, he's already doing something, so he was out. See, the number 2 contender by WBC was a Brio or something, and he was already committed to something else. Luke Campbell's number 1, so it's supposed to be number 1 versus number 3 for the BC title. And number 2 would then be the mandatory to face the winner. Well, Uncle Bob threw a monkey wrench and all that and said, I got Lomachenko, got the WBA, WBO belt, we love that BC belt. Lomo likes paying them sanction fees. And Mauricio's like, sanction fees? Well, what are we talking about here? So Uncle Bob threw him a little check, said, this is just a taste. Mauricio looked at that and said, all right, came out there, Lomachenko's going to fight Luke Campbell for the WBC belt. So Devin Haney took me like, what the fuck happened here? Devin Haney's like, whoa, I got him stuck on the zone to fight for that. So you telling me I'm not getting a title shot? Oh, you'll get one eventually. But, So, and Devin Haney's really fucked in this deal. And this is why. First of all, Lomachenko's not going to fight Devin Haney. He's not. It's not going to happen. What's going to happen is Lomachenko's going to beat Luke Campbell, win that BC belt. They're hoping that Teofimo Lopez beats Richard Comey for that IBF belt, And Bob's gonna have that. Bob's gonna have what Bob likes, that in-house money. Bob's gonna have in-house money. Boom, match those boys up there. Because Teofimo Lopez, he says he's got 2 fights left at 135. And I believe him because I think he's too big to really stay at 135. So Teofimo's gonna, if Teofimo beats Comey, and I'm not saying Comey's no easy out. Now I'm gonna tell you right now, Comey's no easy out. By any stretch of the imagination, it's an easy out. So the winner, regardless of whoever wins Comey and Teofimo Lopez is gonna want to fight Lomachenko. I think the fight happens quicker if it's Comey, because I think if it's Comey, Bob's going to make that fight right away. If it's Lopez, Bob's going to try to hold that off a little bit because I don't think Bob really wants Lomachenko to really fuck with Teofimo Lopez. I think Bob honestly wants Teofimo to move the fuck up, and just trying to find a way to move Teofimo to fuck up to 140. Because I don't think Bob. Look, I respect Lomachenko. I think Lomachenko's a fantastic fighter. I don't think Lomachenko and Bob Arum want that Teofimo Lopez problem right now. I don't. Lomachenko's like at the end of this run here. I think Bob trying to milk Lomo for all he can get out of Lomo, which ain't a lot because you see this. Lomachenko's not a big draw. Let's just get that straight. The problem with a lot of these Eastern European fighters are they're not big draws here in the States. They're really not. And Bob's going to try to milk as much as he can get out of Lomachenko. That's why he keeps pushing Lomachenko down one pound for pound, because he needs a selling point for Lomachenko. He needs that selling point. Terrence Crawford, they said Terrence Crawford down front, but Terrence Crawford can sell in Omaha. You could take Terrence Crawford's ass back to Omaha, Nebraska, and sell out in Omaha, Nebraska. If you plan it right, you might be able to sell out that goddamn Cornhusker Stadium for Terrence Crawford in Omaha. You can't sell Lomachenko barely filled a 10,000 seat arena. I'm just saying. You need that pound for pound number one as a selling point for Lomachenko. The same thing with Gennady Golovkin. They used that Mexican style to build his ass up, and then you look at who would use that Mexican style against guys that were non-threatening, but the minute he fought a threatening guy, he's like, he went back to his Eastern European boxing. You need something to try to sell these guys. These guys are not big sells. They're not big draws. Teofimo Lopez, that boy will sell. I like Teofimo Lopez. The only reason, I'm going to tell you the truth, the only reason I got the zone was because Canelo was on there. I didn't get it because of Anthony Joshua. I mean, I like Anthony, but I wasn't getting the zone. I wasn't paying $10 a month for Anthony Joshua. I got the zone because I like Canelo Alvarez. I don't like Golden Boy. I don't like what they stand for, but I like Canelo Alvarez, so I'm willing to dealing with Golden Boy and their BS because I like Canelo Alvarez, and I'm a fan of Canelo Alvarez. I'm not a fanboy, but I'm a fan. I do like Canelo Alvarez, and I want to see Canelo. I still want to see Canelo fight. I still want to see Canelo Alvarez fight Charlo. And after watching Canelo against Danny Jacobs, there was a point where I really thought Charlo going to destroy Canelo. Charlo going to destroy it. After watching Canelo in his maturation, honestly, I want to see the fight, but that's a pick-em fight. In my opinion, that's a pick-em fight. I'm not at the point right now with that fight where I was earlier, where I thought Charlo walks through, either him or Golovkin. I think Charlo beats the shit out of Golovkin, but Canelo is just a whole different beast. I would like to see Canelo. I would like to see Canelo in his next fight Boo Boo Andrade and get rid of that one. Get rid of Boo Boo. Take that unified 160 pound division. I know the zone's going to press for that. The zone's going to sit there and try to press for that third fight with Golovkin. But I think if you're going to do that, honestly, I would rather have all the belts. Let Canelo go and take care of Boo Boo Andrade, because Boo Boo Andrade is not going to be a tough fight for Canelo. It's not. Honestly, it's not going to be a tough fight for Canelo. It's going to be a boring fight because Boo Boo Andrade's style, he doesn't have the power to hurt Canelo. I don't think none of these motherfuckers really have power to hurt Canelo. But Canelo, everything Boo Boo Andre does well. Canelo has so improved so much that I think Canelo. I actually think Canelo stops Boo Boo. I think Canelo breaks Boo Boo down and stops Boo Boo. Um, I think honestly Canelo could have stopped Jacobs if Canelo wouldn't have respected him. Canelo gave Jacobs too much respect, and I think Canelo wouldn't have respected him so much. He'd have stopped Jacobs. Because that the way he was when he decided to whack Jacobs around and the body shots, Canelo, I think Canelo wouldn't respect Jacobs so much he'd have stopped him. But Boo Boo Andre, I think Canelo stops him. And I would like to see him do that and then go then handle his Golovkin business, because Canelo himself has said I really don't really want to fuck with Golovkin again. I really got other shit I want to do. But the zone is like, look, we're paying you all this money. We paying this cat all this money. We need that fight. Um, if the zone is smart, which they're not, but if they're smart, what they do is this: let Canelo unify the 160-pound division. Then, um, give Charlo some more step aside money, because that's all Charlo seen. Charlo got a little silver belt. Give Charlo some more step aside money. Um, let Canelo go and handle his business with Golovkin. Get Golovkin totally out of the damn picture. Because once Canelo beats Golovkin's ass again, there's gonna be no reason for a fourth fight. There's no reason, because there's just no reason. Let Canelo handle Golovkin, and Canelo move on to then I'd like to see Canelo move on to Charlo. Handle the Charlo situation. And then if Canelo wants to, after he handles Charlo, if Canelo wants to step up and say, okay, I've taken care of this business, now I want to move on. But I'd like to see Canelo just handle the fights I want to see Canelo have is, I want to see him fight Boo Boo Andre, unify, handle his business with Golovkin, finally shut that shit. All these people that are bitching about Golovkin, I want to see Canelo just go in there, find that third fight, dominate Golovkin and get rid of him, and fight Charlo. And fight Charlo. And I don't know who wins the fight, but I want to see the fight, because that way, if you win, okay, if you win the fight and it's a close fight, maybe you run it back. But if you win the fight convincingly, okay, now you've taken care of all the boogeymen of your division, and all the naysayers are saying, "Oh, Canelo wants to." Now you take care of that. You pretty much clean that 160. Because after you take care of Charlo, there's really nobody. Oh, with Devinchenko, do you really? Yeah. You want to stick around and just pick and paw, but after you take care of Charlo, honestly, after you, if Canelo beats Charlo, he beats Golovkin, beats Charlo, beats Boo Boo Andre. There's really nothing much more for you to do at 160 unless you're gonna go after the record for the most title defenses. And if you're gonna go for that record, okay, fine. Then there'll be a bunch of guys. You've got Jared Hurd coming up. You got the other Charlo brother coming up. You got these kids 154. Now, Canelo, you got Jaime Munguia. Canelo has fights at 160, but I'd like to see him pretty much take care of Boo Boo Andre, unify Golovkin, and just to get rid of Golovkin, just to get rid of him, and Charlo. And after you take care of those three fights there, can't nobody say shit about Canelo, because you just can't. There's no fucking way in hell. Now, I don't do pound for pounds, and I'm sick of pound for pound. If I did one, Canelo would be my number one. If I did one, because I'm not tied like Andre Ward and Max Kellerman are tied to ESPN, so they gotta rank those ESPN guys 1 and 2, whatever. I'm not tied to Ring Magazine. I'm not tied to anything. It's just my opinion. I'm not tied to anybody. This is my opinion. If I had to do one, I would say Canelo would be number one, based on his resume and the fact of who he can fight. And I think Canelo, if Canelo fights those three guys, if he fights and Boo Boo Andre this year and ends the year with Boo Boo Andre, even if Canelo beats Boo Boo Andre, okay, and usually Canelo might do a third fight. Okay, if he beats Boo Boo Andre and makes his first defense of the undisputed middleweight title, then next year we turn around, come single demand next year, we sit there and we say, okay, it's time to end the Golovkin deal once and for all. We go there next year, Cinco de Mayo. Canelo goes in there, beats the shit out of Golovkin, finally ends the Golovkin thing, and then at the end, the next holiday, we go and we handle our Charlo problem, If he's successful in that, and then maybe he has another fight later on that year. And maybe that kid Rob Brandt who's walking around the WBA regular time, maybe Canelo comes in, come on, kid. Come here, kid. Rob Brandt, come on, bring your little ass over here. Smacks Rob Brandt around the end of the year. So now you've made a defense. You've won the undisputed middleweight title, made one defense of it against whoever you decide to fight. You come in the following year, make your second defense against Golovkin, ending him up. Your third defense against Charlo, handle that problem. And then maybe you make your fourth defense against Rob Brandt. Okay, so now you've made four defenses of the undisputed middleweight title. Next, next year, you end the year off, you go into 2021. Now you're looking at the fact that you pretty much, nobody's saying shit about you. Now you got a clear claim for number one in pound for pound in the world. Yeah, you sit there at 160, you say, do I want to stay at 160 because I got Jaime Munguia here? This is what you got here. Once you take care of Charlo, you got Rob Brandt you can fight. You got Jaime Munguia you can fight. Jared Hurd's going to be looking to move the fuck up there. The other Charlo brother's going to be looking to move the fuck up there. If you want to do a rematch with Laura, great. There are guys at 154 that are really looking to come to 160. You got options. Canelo's looking at shit. Then also you got the Spence fight. You got the fight with Earl Spence sitting there because Earl Spence is gonna want to unify his shit. Unify his shit at 147. Spence may be looking to move up. Spence may be looking to say, maybe by that time, while you cleaning that shit up your hair, Spence might have cleaned up shit at 147, moved up to 154. And been companion at 154. So by the time we look at 2021, we might be saying the end of 2021, say, hey, Earl Spence versus Canelo. Undisputed middleweight championship. Looks good. It's built. It's better because if Earl Spence unifies 147, moves up to 154, and is dominant at 154, and grabs belts at 154. Now you got the undisputed middleweight champion, Canelo Alvarez, versus the unified or maybe he's undisputed at 147, at 154, I don't know. But the point is, he got Spence. Now that fight is bigger, which means that Canelo and Oscar are going to have to say, look, they're going to have to tell the zone, look, this can't be on the app. This is too fucking big for the app. We got to go over there. Uncle Al and Showtime want this. We got the zone's going to, the zone's going to be, you know what? Yeah, we getting our piece of the pie. Go do what you got to do. Big fight. So I'm saying, big fight. I mean, even okay, let's just say, because honestly, you're not going to get to see, honestly, you're not going to get Terrence Crawford. You're not going to get that because Terrence Crawford is not going to jump from, Terrence Crawford is a small welterweight. So he's not jumping to 160 to fight Canelo. And Uncle Bob is not going to let that happen. It's like, okay, I can see Terrence Crawford at best moving up one more weight class. Maybe to 154 and winning a title at 154. I don't see Terrence Crawford going above 154. I don't see Terrence Crawford going above that. Earl Spence is a big fucking welterweight, so I can see Earl Spence going as high as 168. And being effective. But Canelo has options and fights out there. I just want to see Canelo end this year. Take care of Boo Boo Andre. If you're going to have another fight in December, get a little, fight in December. Then next year, Golovkin, Charlo, Rob Brandt. The following year, Jaime Munguia, Jared Hart. I mean, dude, the sky's the limit. Will those fights happen? Maybe not. It's all about, because boxing, of course, boxing, the business of boxing always gets in the way of what someone like me, a fan like me, would want. The business of always dictates what's going to happen. So most likely we're going to wind up getting, at the end of the year, we're going to wind up getting Canelo and Golovkin Part 3. I mean, if it is what it is. At least when Canelo takes care of Golovkin this time, it's over with. Unless we get Adelaide Bird in there and you get some weird judging and we get another draw. Then we got to sit through this shit again. But the unification, that is where we look like we're heading. It seems like all these governing bodies realize that this is where boxing is heading and people want unification. Lomachenko and Luke Campbell, I got Lomachenko in that one. I like it because of unification. I feel bad, like I said, for Devin Haney because I think that like he jumped over the zone and was thinking like, "Oh, I got this fight," and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh shit, I don't got this fight." I felt bad for him on that. But and tonight, like I say, Jared Hurd is going to be fighting. Jared Hurd is fighting J. Rock Williams. That's going to be a good fight. And then there's a card on ESPN. Burchelt. Burchelt is defending his title tonight on ESPN. So, like, it's going to be a busy night of boxing, man. If you're a boxing fan, I hope you get out there and check it out. Well, probably by the time this video drops. But if you're a fight fan, man, check it out. We got, boxing. Yes, we're a niche sport because we got so much competition here in the U.S. and we're bigger than over other parts of the world where they aren't as much competition. But we here. We here, and we're doing the damn thing. We're having some damn good fights. So, if you're a fight fan, we might not get the fights we want when we want, but we're getting them. And man, I would advise every boxing fan, man, follow your kids on local kids on in the amateurs. Find out who your local amateurs are. Follow their careers, man. Follow them. And when you get a chance to follow some of these amateur tournaments, follow these guys. This is where your future of boxing is in the amateurs. Don't just wait to the Olympics to follow these kids. Keep your eye on what's going on in the amateurs because these are the kids that are going to be your pros in the future. If you start following these kids now, you'll be able to see. Like I said, I looked at Saddam Ali as an amateur, and I said he's an okay amateur. He's not going to be a very good pro. And so far, I've been proven right. Because every time he's stepped up, and don't give me the Cotto fight. So I'm just saw somebody in the comments going to say, "Oh, we beat Cotto." He beat a shot old Cotto. He didn't beat a prime Cotto. He beat a shot old Miguel Cotto. Probably didn't train. You know, he got Cotto name on his legs, but trust me, 5 years ago, if that fight had happened 5 years ago, Miguel Cotto mopped the floor with Saddam Ali. Trust and believe that. So yeah, he got the thing over a shot old Miguel Cotto, but come on, man, that's no. Another thing, another thing that bothers me is, and it's not so much. It's about these people like these boxing writers who want to compare fighters, like here. Look, today's fighters. If you took today's fighters, if there were 5 fighters that I could mention from the past that if they fought today would kill in their divisions. Marvin Hagler would kill anything at middleweight. James Toney would kill anything at super middleweight. Roy Jones at his before he lost to Tarver would kill today's light heavyweights. At welterweight, Sugar Ray Leonard, I think Sugar Ray Leonard would dominate today's welterweight. And Duran, a prime Duran at 135, I've always said Duran, come on, that 135, Duran's the greatest lightweight of all time. He kills Lomachenko. He takes care of Teofimo Lopez. There are certain fighters from the past that if they fought today would dominate today. And that's always been my opinion of an all-time great is, in my opinion of an all-time great is this. Can I take you from your era and put you in today's era and you still be successful? And can I take a fighter from today's era and put them in your era and they be successful? Which is why, in my opinion, Johnny Unitas is the greatest quarterback ever. Because Johnny Unitas could go from his era and he could play in today's era of football and he'd be successful. You gotta remember, when Johnny Unitas was playing football, there was bump and run coverage. They could really hit the fucking quarterback. They would beat the quarterback's ass. And you put Johnny Unitas in today's era of football where you can't touch his receivers, you can't touch him, Johnny Unitas would dominate. And there goes with Tom Brady. Tom Brady could not play in Johnny Unitas' era. Too fragile. Tom Brady could not play in Johnny Unitas' era. Could Johnny Unitas play in today? Could Johnny Unitas play in today's era? Yes. Could Tom Brady play in Johnny Unitas' era? No. And that's that's how I judge an all-time great. Could you fight in any era and be successful? And a lot of today's fighters, I'm on the fence with. I don't see any all-time greats in today's boxing. I see no all-time greats in today's boxing. And That's my opinion of all-time great is can you fight in any era? Can I take you back to the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, and you fight? Can I take you back? Hell, could I take you back as far as late as the 70s to the 15-round era, and you be successful in those eras? And could I take those guys from that era and put them in today's era, and would they be successful? And the 5 men I mentioned would be successful today. Those 5 men at their best fighting today, and today's fighters, they'd kill them. I don't think James Toney by himself. James Toney. I'm bringing heavy hitters. Like I said, I'm bringing Marvin Hagler. Marvin Hagler kills anything at 160. 168, James Toney runs today's 168 pounders out of the room. Roy Jones beats Kovalev, all them guys at 170. Roy Jones beats them. Sugar Ray Leonard beats all the welterweights, and Duran beats every lightweight going today. And anybody that thinks that there's a lightweight fighter today, or any fighter in any of those weight classes I mentioned, the weight class I'm saying I'm bringing fighters from is welterweight, middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight, lightweight, welterweight, middleweight, super middleweight, light heavyweight. And the fighters I brought in there in those divisions are Duran at lightweight, Leonard at welterweight, Hagler at middleweight, James Toney at super middleweight, Roy Jones at light heavyweight. If you think there's a fighter today that could beat any of those guys at their best, I dare somebody to say to somebody they could beat James. There's a super middleweight that could beat James Toney today. Not another. I said today. Fighting active fighters today. And don't tell me Earl Spence beat Sugar Ray Leonard at 147. You're full of shit. Sugar Ray Leonard at his best beats Earl Spence, Terrence Crawford, Keith Thurman, Manny Pacquiao. Today's welterweight, Sugar Ray Leonard beats these motherfuckers at lunchtime, and it comes back and says, well, who's next? Middleweight division, Marvin Hagler runs through them. Super middleweight division today, James Toney runs through them. Light heavyweight better be up. Roy Jones beats them. Lightweight, Duran beats them. The only guy that makes Duran gives Duran a sweat is either Lopez Lomachenko, but they still lose. And that's what I'm saying. All-time greats. That's my difference with all-time greats. Is couldn't you take an all-time fighter from that era and put them in today's era and they'd be successful? Absolutely. And the 5 men I mentioned, I didn't even go to heavyweight, because if I went to heavyweight, I could bring Larry Holmes, Ali. There are other great fighters I could bring that would dominate today's fighters. Could any of these today's fighters go and dominate those fighters in their era? Hell no. 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 I think the word great is thrown around too much. Greatness is Ali. Greatness in what he did. In not one part of his career, but in both parts of his career. Greatness is Roberto Duran and his domination of the lightweight division. Greatness is Sugar Ray Leonard and his heart and his determination to beat an undefeated Tommy Hearns and to come back from his first loss to Duran and avenge that loss. Greatness is Marvin Hagler having a fight for the right to get the shot at the middleweight time. When he got it, dominated, held on that motherfucker. Greatness is James Toney, who has an old school style and has such a mind for the sport that he could just sit there. And when he was motivated, see, that's the only problem when you look at James Toney's career. Honestly, when James Toney was motivated and on his game, that motherfucker was hard to beat. It's just that there were times when James Toney wasn't motivated on his game, and Roy Jones until Roy slipped. Roy Jones, baby. I mean, I could take Roy and put Roy in middleweight, super middleweight, or light, but I'm choosing to put him in light heavyweight. And I'm looking at today's light heavyweights, and I'm saying, could any of today's light heavyweights fuck with Roy Jones at the height of his powers at light heavyweight? I'm saying, nah. Nope, not happening. Just saying, could any super middleweight today fuck with James Toney at the height of his powers at super middleweight? And I'm saying, no, not happening. Could any of today's middleweights mess with Hagler? No. Could any of today's welterweights mess with Leonard? No. And could any of today's lightweights mess with Duran? No. Sorry. And those are just my 5 hitters. So what I'm going to try to do is every week I'm going to take 5 fighters from the past and compare them to 5 fighters that are of 5 weight classes. 5 great fighters from the past, put them into 5 of current fighters. And if you know great fighters, you know the sport. Name me a great fighter. Say how would they stack up, and we can chop it up, man. I like to hear when some people chop it up because we're not always going to agree, but we can be respectful and have respectful conversation. And please don't, no fanboys. If you ain't been following boxing, if you just started following boxing during the Mayweather era, I don't even want to hear from you because you don't know shit. You have to be a fan who's been following boxing. You have to remember ABC Wide World of Sports and even beyond that to come fucking with me. If you just started following boxing during the Mayweather Pacquiao bullshit, I don't even want to hear from you because you don't know shit about boxing. You better be a 15-round guy going back when boxing was on NBC, ABC, CBS. Before when we still had closed fucking circuit. Or beyond that, if you one of them fans are in a true head, hit me up, man. Let's chop it up. Let's talk about some knowledge, man. But today's fighters, I think in a lot of ways, today's fighters are overrated. The guys from the past, underpaid but greater fighters. That's it for me. I went long with this one. So till next time, Joe Wilson signing out. Have a good one. Enjoy the night's fights.